Welcome back to the lands of Alaire. We just left off with our party entering the kingdom of Alaire, venturing on down towards one of their smaller settlements, getting a tavern for the evening, and finding out the ways of the High Elves, which involve a very high security militant force making their way through the entirety of the kingdom every day and checking in with just about everyone. It's a little intrusive. You guys awake in the morning, another bright, beautiful morning, much like you had experienced the evening before as you traveled through the kingdom, and you guys are free to do as you please, including jump on the wagon and get on the road. There's really not too much more to do.
So if we step outside, it's like very structured plants and stuff even?
Not like perfectly so. It's kind of got this illusion of nature, you know? The rows of trees and bunches of these shorter trees, not like the tall pines and great oaks and whatnot of Sarangar and Caradmorn, shorter kind of squatter trees with sharp leaves that kind of come to a point, a great many of them. And they break through the fields of these grains and whatnot, sometimes in rows that are obviously they were planted this way, and sometimes in bunches that are supposed to be like natural glades, but perhaps they were planted in such a way to just appear, you know, just so imperfect that they would be like a perfect natural glade. Everything seems to be by design in some way or another.
So firstly, for the morning, Gilroy would like to cast Detect Magic as a ritual.
As a ritual? You ain't using that spell slot! So do you step outside to do this?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Okay, so as you detect magic, you guys see Gilroy spending a few minutes to draw a circle around him and focus his energies and peer into the arcane about him. And it's very subtle, the aura around here. But the High Elves, having lived here for so many centuries, millennia in fact, has indeed left a semi-magical imprint on this space. And it seems... what would it be? I can't quite recall the school that it would be.
Oh. Enchantment?
Yeah,
or
it's a little
illusion.
bit of enchantment, yeah. I think it would mostly be enchantment. Everything has this kind of magical aura, a little bit of essence that has been kind of sprinkled throughout the land.
Alright, and secondly, Gilroy, does he recall any schools of magic in that, not transmutation or anything, but like...
Schools?
Yes,
Magic.
academies of magic in Alaire.
Roll a history check.
18.
So there is a group, the Mages of Sumadia, nice and simple. They're the High Elf practitioners who occasionally seem to write spell books. You have read some of their spell books as they are published. However, it's not exactly a college, per se. That's the number one thing that comes to mind as a group of magic users, because you have used their books in your early practicing. However, you do know there's another one or two colleges, but they don't have a big name exactly. And they don't accept non-High Elves, as it's a rather monoculture kind of city.
Sure. Okay.
Anything more you guys would like to do?
Well, if we're detecting stuff, I'll use Divine Sense. Any undead, fiends, demons, celestials, within 60 feet.
Clara! What are you looking at?
His eyes are white.
And Silas.
And Silas, he's a...
One of those things.
Yeah. Clara, you're one and the same. But she laughs.
Alright.
Arena, stepping out into the sun, looks towards you, Leander, as your eyes roll back down. Oh.
He levitates.
Divine
He
sense.
stops levitating a few inches off the
Yeah, exactly.
Not quite that weird.
She goes up. We're finally going to make it. Maybe we can see the Temple of Torme today.
Yes, that would be quite the time.
You don't sound as excited as I am.
Well, I'm trying to determine if this is what I envisioned Ellenbeer being or not.
Let's hold our criticism until we see Sumadia. I've always heard that it's truly a place of great divine power. And she seems like truly inspired as she says this, like her fist clenched, looking up in the air. Like she's really excited to absorb this essence and get a feeling for it.
I would too very much like to see the high temples.
Really?
I would.
I wouldn't anticipate that, John.
Perhaps we'll bring you along.
I would love to go. Thank you.
Perfect.
Now, I don't exactly understand, but the taller the temple, the more powerful the god?
That's how...
Everybody seems very excited about these high temples.
That's basically how I thought.
These holy stone houses just... I don't know. I'm sure he'll explain it to me.
That's how most
Everybody
people...
keeps getting more and more excited about these places. And they're always bigger than the last. I just don't know if it makes you more powerful or not.
I think so. I think that's how it works.
Oh. Interesting. You know, the sky is taller than all of them. And I just start walking.
Quit your bickering, because I've been excited for this for years.
Sky Schmai.
Hurston comes rolling on out of the stables. The Landmaster XL nearly scraping up against the top of the wood as it makes its way on out. Clara takes her seat as does Zorn and Bilberry. Yantel walks alongside. Hurston cracks the reins once more, and everyone begins making their way south towards the coast and the Great Cliffs and city of Sumadia. And it is a good 6 hours, but the road from Isenlair is rather straight from there to Sumadia, and you manage to get there before the sun begins to set. It's beginning to sink across the other side of the kingdom, and you are stopped. Sumadia appears to be a kingdom of its own, very separate from kind of the rest of Ellenbeer, which has this natural, very fertile crescent sense, you know, with the mountains stringing alongside and whatnot. Sumadia kind of cuts off this cliff that reaches up over alongside the coast, and then there's a great many 100-foot drop down that way towards these very crystal clear blue and green waters, and all along that cliff, immediately stopping all these fields of rain and whatnot, it becomes dirt and stone, as you would expect the city to be. However, the roads are very clean, and some of them, it doesn't have the design that you would expect necessarily, especially for what appears to be the quarters where average people live. It isn't very much so in rows, especially upon coming out of Steelhammer Stronghold, which is probably one of the most perfectly designed places in all of Alaire. These roads bend slightly, and some of them curve off into small circles of buildings and whatnot, and they all kind of create their own cul-de-sacs and separate spaces and sectors, and it is a little bit chaotic, and yet looks like it would be rather easy to traverse. And all of the buildings are generally made of this white stone with wooden architecture throughout as well. And there is doesn't even look like it's made for defense stone wall about 10 feet tall around the space, because they want people to be able to see Sumadia, the city itself. And then far above, you can see at the very top a ring of great temples, beautiful temples with huge arcing Colosseum-esque structures. Some of them have huge pillars along the fronts and monstrous golden gates that are open, some of them closed, some of them have great statues out front, all of them seemingly denoted to different gods. And that all sits atop a bit of a spire, though a short, kind of stubby one, at the very top of this cliff, which there is a stairway that leads on up, spiring around that to the temples. And as you guys approach that 10-foot gate, a group of soldiers comes marching on out, and they stop it. And the one in the front, wearing this silver armor, goes, "You'll be following us now. You're expected at the council. There is a trial to be held."
Perfect.
Cool.
But I haven't done anything yet.
There was some degree of mischief by the river last night. We want to clarify things.
So the implication is
They are suspicious.
right.
Okay.
By the river implying
Yes, you
us.
definitely can.
Okay.
Huh?
By the river implying us.
Seems so, yeah.
We're on insight.
Can
I did not
I was
roll.
gonna say they seem to really
Not
like
quite that.
Torme, maybe
Number-
like
or-
Gotcha.
push you forward.
I think I was probably in the front.
Yeah.
On my horse, but hearing them say mischief by the river last night, I turn and look at Bilberry and see if he reacts in any way.
Yeah, knowing what you suspect, he shrugs and he goes, I was in your room all night. Even if you didn't notice. Or Arena. Do you guys, do you follow them along?
Yes, I'd say so.
And, they march you straight up towards the cliff, however, along the side of it, and then into a subterranean space of Sumadia. Underneath some of the streets, you can see there are grates that would permit, what?
Subterranean.
Yeah! Right? A surprise. Sometimes the light shines on through the sunlight, through these grates. It's not a sewer, but it seems as though a tunnel for the soldiers to have very easy access to every street in the city.
Are we bringing the cart through here?
Yeah, Hurston. Yeah, no, it's big enough. They have Hurston bring his stuff along. In fact, it seems as though there's a good amount of kind of stations and supplies throughout this space where they would do patrols underneath. And you get a feeling it's a little deceptive. It's like to maintain this idea that Sumadia is free from that kind of iron grip control that the military has, and yet there they are underneath the entirety of the thing. And they take a couple turns making their way through these larger grates. Some of them have to be opened, some of them are already opened by squads that maintain positions there. And you find yourselves emptying out into a cavern unlike some that you have ever seen before. You have a feeling it's a natural cavern, and yet it would be uncanny to be formed in this way, because it is a perfect semicircle kind of Colosseum-esque space where there are a good many seat-like layers which you suspect this council, this senate, sits at. And there's a good, it looks like it would hold maybe 300 elves or so. There's a good 20 there right now. This cavern is very large, about 150 feet in diameter, and the very top, much like a dome, however, it has a single hole carved through it, which peers up all the way to the surface. Sunlight pours through into the center of this room like a spotlight. And that is where you guys are positioned along with the cart. And it also illuminates beneath you a big motif, it seems. A bit of the history of Alaire.
Is Clara in the cart?
Clara, yeah, she's hidden away kind of behind the curtains. As you look upon these high elves that sit in the Senate seats, a good group of 20 or so, they wear 5 different colors of robe. Some seem to be more religious in order. At least one, the ones wearing these gray robes, appear to be not exactly, maybe they're the more civil kind of take care of those types of problems. Some of them seem more militant. You just get these varying dispositions by looking upon all of them. And you are all centered there. These soldiers bow before the Senate and disperse to the sides of the room, all going in a semicircle around you. The room goes quiet, though it has a great echo to it whenever any noise is made, especially your footsteps, particularly yours, Leander, and Arena's, with all the armor you wear. The movement of the clip-clop of the hooves as the horses make their way on in. And one of the elves stands up, and he goes, my name is Zelretta, High Counselor of Elenvir. You are newcomers to this land. What is your reason for being here?
To gain audience with the council.
Unfortunate. For now, you only stand before a few of us, and not in the best of circumstances. The High Council has had difficulty in bringing itself together in recent months, though recent months is no time at all. There seemed to be some trouble by the river. Some of our soldiers became suspicious. How many are there with you?
I think.
Do you count the horses, or...?
No.
Familiars?
Fine.
Cool.
11.
And then, at this moment, in the middle of the questioning, you see one of the elves step forward, unveiling his hood. And it's Hybern Overloss. And he looks upon you and he goes, High Counselor, this gentleman here, and he walks on out into the middle of the cavern, his steps being some of the only noise ringing throughout this large space, and he goes, he is a warrior of Torme, as is, and he points towards Arena, a cleric herself. By right, they are permitted to visit the temple. They've more than committed themselves to his practicing, and I believe it's written in stone. They are permitted to go, and, if I may say so myself, under their jurisdiction they may bring their companions. And the High Counselor, many of the counselors speak amongst each other, and they go, prove that you worship Torme in truth. Arena goes towards, she takes a step forward and she goes, it would be easy enough for me to prove it. I'll leave it to you.
So, as I ask him to prove, he doesn't do very much, but a large, basically a pillar of white light surrounds him and kind of gives a feeling of warmth and kind of proudness.
Sure. They whisper to each other, turning to each other side to side, and go, yes, you have proved your point, Hiram. Escort them to the temple. We will be seeing you again. And with that, Hiram jumps up atop the landmaster next to Hurston, and he goes, he looks down towards the group, and, scanning over you, withdrawing a little bit when his eyes pass over you, Melee. He goes, good to see you again, friends. Let's get out of here. And Hurston gives the reins a crack, and you begin to make your way on out. A kind of spiral-like chamber that continues to circle on up until you're out in the middle of that space where all the temples were, the large kind of stubby spire at the top of the cliff. And as you emerge from a subterranean space, almost like a subway entrance pretty much in the middle of this larger central area, you see around you the great many temples. However, Hiram quickly turns you over towards the Temple of Torme, which is militant in nature. It looks, it's decorated with shields and spears straight from the outside, great pillars all around which are carved in the likeness of great warriors, all different races and beings, but definitely each and every one of them proud and strong is the theme that you get all the way throughout. And the very top of the archway that holds the doors beneath it, the great golden doors into the temple, displays Torme with his battle axe, long beard, horned helmet, riding atop a golden dragon, and it's absolutely badass. And Leander, you feel as though it's insane that you've spoken with that being before.
Right, yeah.
He contacted you and has taken you into consideration. Among all the many universes and timelines and planes, he wanted something to do with you. And though he has been quiet for some time, he told you that you already know the path to take. It's in your heart, and it is, so long as you trust your senses, you are doing Torme's will. Mm-hmm. And as you enter through this space, Arena, who is taking it all in, she grazes against the various pillars and looks upon them. As you enter this space, you hear kind of a ringing in your voice, a little bit low, but a well done, child. And you feel a great warmth within your chest. Looking upon the temple itself, it's simple in design, not as ornate as one would expect. However, there's a good many soldiers all about, different than the ones that went throughout the kingdom. They all have the white gauntlet of Torme upon their shields and their chests as well. And as you enter, they give slight nods, kind of a salute of their own. They wield spears, tower shields, and silver armor, much like the other elves you had seen before, except the differences. And as you make your way on forward through this space, you see one high elf who is dressed in robes, almost no doubt a priest. And why don't you guys throw a perception for me?
Jar's just looking pensive.
4.
What?
1.
Oh!
15.
Okay,
21.
okay.
Also 15.
Nice. So, you three, Leander, Erlon, Melee, you guys note that he has some kind of moon-like crescent over his eyes. Something you haven't seen in nearly any elves. In fact, only you, Erlon, would know. He has a very plain face, the perfect smooth, pale complexion of a high elf, gorgeous silver straight hair, and he's wearing white robes with the gauntlet of Torme as silver displayed, embroidered upon his robes. And, but he has these crescents above his eyes, and only you know, and it manifests in different ways, that denotes he is of great age, perhaps 1,500 years old or so, incredibly old. And it manifests in different ways within your tribe. Sometimes it looks much more like the night sky in their eyes and whatnot, but that means an elf is nearing the end of their days, and obviously that doesn't manifest with wrinkles or anything. It only becomes this thing in their eyes, and you know that, you guys do not. However, Melee, one other additional detail that you know is he has a sword sheath at his side. There is a beautiful emerald in the hilt. But only you manage to see that as he turns around and looks upon you. You can withhold that as you please. And, as he turns around, he looks upon the group scanning over you. However, his eyes obviously stop upon Leander and Arena. He gives a slight bow to you and he goes, "My name is Marsatrius, priest of Torme.
Greetings.
Blessings upon you, child."
Yes.
I actually quite surprised by everybody noticing like his age, like bow,
Sure.
and
yeah.
I kind of just stay in like this half bowing position while he's speaking.
Okay. He notices, looks upon your tattoos, and there's a moment of consideration, but then he turns back to Leander, and he goes up, "It must have been a long travel for you. Long indeed."
Very. Many perilous tales I could tell. But I'm grateful to be here finally.
I don't know. Seems like time has come. Follow me. We'll speak in private. And he takes you around behind the great altar to Torme, through a curtain, and into a more private space. And there, he begins to sit on down some very comfortable seeming chairs and a small table in the center of a gorgeous stone room, circular in design. And it seems as though there's more to the temple further back.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably where the priests live. And Arena is appreciating the design a lot. But for you, Leander, you kind of anticipated it being bigger.
Yeah.
And he, as he takes his seat, calmly, he folds his hands upon each other, takes a moment, and he goes, "We were foretold of your coming. I had a dream. A child with angel's wings, making her way from the north, guided by an arrow. Most intriguing. But now that you are finally here, I've heard tellings of a great many commotions in Sarangar, Carrot Morn. The men of those ways and the elves and the dwarves seem to be rallying together. Perhaps a stand may be taken. However, you require the assistance of the High Elves of Valenvir as well. To do so, we would need to form a meeting of the old councils. And sadly, an integral piece of those councils has been lost for 50 years. Baronor, High Councilor, and member of the Senate. He was left with the right to join us all together, as we had in decades past, to make decisions. However, about 5 decades ago, we have been picked, but now our anxiety is rising. He entered a portal to the plane of Eastgard, a land of quests. There, he sought to find an answer for our difficulties in the cycle of reincarnation that many high elves on many other planes get to take part in. However, on Alaire, there are struggles. And for this, we wanted to find answers. However, Baronor has not returned. 50 years, though, not too long for us. There's enough reason to give cause. If you want us to conjoin once more and talk over the benefits of allying with you and your peoples against Baronor, we will need Baronor there to begin the process.
Leander kind of just gives it some thought and thinks over all the things that Massagerus just kind of explained. That is troubling. How would we be able to solve this? Find him?
In your adventures, have you stumbled across the creations of high elves long ago?
Yes.
We had a mastery over planar magics, even here on Alaire, and teleportation. But, he goes, follow me. And as he gestures, he brings you behind the curtain, the room further back, behind this circular room and beyond it. And as you enter, you are surprised to see that it has 2 stairwells that lead up. Probably the priests live up there. But before...
Ah, yes, that must be where the priests live. Follow me.
Oh, that's where the priests live, exactly. And, however, there is a great portal, a ring, that a torus, much like the ones that you guys have jumped in before to move from Sarangard to Karak Morn. However, this one is propped upwards and standing upright, and it has a kind of wave-like purple essence going throughout it, and it seems it's carved around with elvish runes, magical runes, and whatnot, and it seems as though it is a planar portal, and the temples may very well hold these very magics. And at the sight of this, Arena finally gasps and goes, I never could have imagined. He goes, Massatrius, gesturing towards the portal, goes, yes, we kept it in this shape for a good long time, but Baronor, well, wherever he ended up in Eastgard, I'm afraid it may be very dangerous. He's a powerful mage himself. Indeed, very strong. But Eastgard, it is a land like no other. There, well, everything you think of adventuring. And you see a slight fondness. Maybe he was an adventurer in the past, a cleric for some party. Come over him. He goes, you expect traps and monsters, treasure, glory. Eastgard takes these things and amplifies them 10 times over. The creatures you face will be monstrous and powerful. The treasure you find will be great and your reward amazing, but that is the very nature of this plane. So, to know what to expect, Baronor felt as though he could find such answers underground. When you make your way to Eastgard, expect a subterranean adventure.
Well, I suppose if that's what we expect, that's what will be there.
Now then, you are welcome to go anytime. I'm afraid the temple only has limited resources we may offer you, though if you are in need of tokens, you may make your way here. The other side of the portal, the one that you will find yourselves exiting from in Eastgard, is stable, so you may exit at any time. Do not get lost. The plane is infinite. Take a wrong turn, and it may be very difficult to find your way back. Best of luck, my friends.
We'll be back.
Arena turns towards you, and she goes, suppose we'll have sanctuary here in the temple for now. I'm not complaining.
Not at all.
Clara and I, perhaps we'll do some studying for the time being. And you see Zorn go, yeah, well, I'm sure there's some good reading here. I should practice on my Elvish anyway. And he turns back towards the temple and goes, planar magic's powerful stuff. I didn't imagine I would be seeing it in my times with you. Be careful, friends. And Bilberry goes, that's a real nice sword! Most Atreus goes, hush now! And you guys are permitted your way on through.
So the implication is we can't really leave the temple. It's like a
Not for the
haven
time being,
for
yeah.
us here in Sumadia.
However, Most Atreus implies that if you find Baranor, the entirety of the council will be very grateful. There's
Right.
no reason they would take that the wrong way.
Right.
Could I use... I mean... Oh, okay, never mind. Dang. I was thinking of using teleportation circle to give us a chance to resupply, or we can go back to
Right.
Steelhammer Stronghold, but we have no way back to
No,
Sumadia.
yeah, this is a
Yeah.
planar portal, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
We decide we don't like Sumadia. We just
Yeah, we can just leave, yeah. That's an option.
This is gonna take too long.
We out of here!
Alright,
That was nice.
So you guys step on through?
yes.
Are,
Supposed to
Oh.
go through to the other side.
Hiram?
Hiram, thank
Yeah.
you. I wanted to ask him really quick if he knew anything about the trouble by the river that the council was discussing. Since we're technically hiding.
Yes. He goes, he was kind of tentatively following, especially with you around, and you see he smiles upon seeing Clara, however, didn't want to get wrapped up in all this kind of business. It felt a bit over his head with the whole planar portal and stuff like that, and he goes, as you approach, before making your way on through, he goes, well, I heard I had to do something with a woman of blue skin, so I imagined you may need my assistance. I think those soldiers, well, what you may consider funny business and what they may consider funny business are two totally different businesses. By the way, Melee, I'm glad to see you again.
And Maylee's just gonna be like, okay, portal.
Best of luck! I'll stick to myself. And as you guys make your way on through, unless there's anything more, okay, you feel yourself a semi-familiar feeling, a bit of a falling, and then suddenly you shoot out of Alaire, past this great continent, and into the cosmos, through the stars and the cosmic dust, and as you look upon each other, you see you are not yourselves, but formed silhouettes of light that vaguely resemble each other's details and features, however moving at incredible speed and leaving behind these streaks of great yellowish, whitish light. And as you blast on through the cosmos, you suddenly find yourselves underwater, moving with incredible speed, blasting up through a huge sea where the surface seems to be in all directions, like a huge orb of water, and then off to the right and through a huge whipping tornado of incredible fury, and then off and seemingly into an emptiness of white. And then you tear through that whiteness, and before you, an infinite plain of beautiful forests and great jagged mountains, and then poof, into the ground and into darkness. And you guys see before you a space that seems structured. Indeed, it looks as though it was crafted by elves, and you step out, emerging before a portal that emits the same kind of purplish white light. Was intense. I always like if someone were to die or teleport, it has to be intense.
Nice.
That is what you guys emerge into. Throw me a perception real quick as you guys come into the space.
Not rolling well.
Yeah, me either. 5.
What?
18.
28.
21.
Okay. So Erlon, Leander, and Jar, you guys can feel and sense the air shifting to the south. It feels as though that corridor goes much further on down. Those two to the side feel like very ceremonial kind of chambers, as though that's a space where elvish priests may go to pray for a moment. Altars that lay bare, untouched for many years, however, you have the feeling that there was maybe sacrifices or something made there to the various gods when they would come to this plane, as to maintain their connection with them and whatnot. However, to the south, a scratching, a gnarling and snarling. Probably undead, you figure, Leander.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, as the air shifts a little bit, you catch a wafting stench of rotting flesh and undead.
Well, I think before Leander realizes that, he says something. Yeah. Eastgard. Seems like a place we could probably spend lots of time traveling in.
Oh yeah, there's 4 pots in this room too. Large clay pots.
Mm. And so alright, so there's clay pots and then there's undead.
Are they like urns? Do they look like urns?
No.
They look like
Like Zelda.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Leander's got. I fear there may be an undead presence further ahead.
Hear a voice ring out from one of the pots. I fear there may be an undead presence up ahead.
Leander, please. Who just said that?
You just said that.
I'm gonna pick up the pot, turn it over, and just shake it.
All right. And as you shake it, a creature that looks a little like a halfling, though maybe the drow side of halflings. You know, he has a darker complexion, kind of much more like Jar's. And he seems to not like the light of the portal as you shake him on out, and he scrambles his back over towards a corner of the room and covers his eyes, and he goes, What? What do you want?
What are you?
Just a little a mite.
A mite.
What?
Indeed.
I don't think your joke is very funny.
I'm sorry.
What's around these parts?
What? There used to be an elf.
Where'd he go?
South.
South.
But my people, well,
all the information we need.
yeah, no one's come through for a long time. Long time. But to the south, yeah, well, my friends and I, family, we don't go that way anymore. Lots of non-bitey things. They're horrible. Smell real bad, too. Pretty much die when we smell them, so.
Sounds pretty bad.
Yeah, we'd be grateful if you got rid of them.
We just met.
We would give you 50 gold pieces if you got rid of those ghouls down there.
Ghouls.
50 gold pieces.
It's a quest!
Yes, we
That's not
we
very...
heard. We heard quests.
I don't mean to... Never mind. I can then I kind of turn to, I guess, whoever's closest. I'll say to Jar. Thought they said that treasure was grand here.
Low level quest! 50 gold!
Ghouls!
Yeah, this is ghouls.
Okay.
Gold is gold.
Alright, so I really can't help myself. I want to go up and smash one of the pots if I can.
Okay. Alright.
Not hard enough to like hurt anything that might be in it. But,
Let
like,
me roll a
have to.
d4 real quick.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. No, give it a go. Oh, alright. So you walk on up to this pot.
Yeah, just while you guys are chatting, I decided he's not worth my time.
You smash it, and it feels as though it was made to be broken, like in perfect pieces. It smashes across the floor and shatters, and in the center, a pile of dust with a semi-precious looking stone on the very center of it, kind of gleaming there. Looks like it would be worth about 200 gold, a large moss agate.
Take it.
Okay, yeah, 200 gold stone. But you're starting to get a sense that the nature of this plane is simply different than the regular material plane. Like,
Kind of wasting time while you guys were talking.
the rules just don't seem to work the same.
Okay.
Like, it will come up with a way to make things adventurous if need be.
Well, we'll hopefully we'll come back.
Oh, don't worry about me. I've been here for 500 years.
Why don't you go home?
The aforementioned ghouls, perhaps.
Oh, home is subjective. So, do you guys make your way south? You have a
Yes.
feeling there's not much more to see here
Yeah.
unless you want to smash some more pots and test fate.
Strange person.
I can't say I've ever seen one of those.
And
I'm set.
when you make your way just down to this corridor down here, follow this map. My computer's slugging. You can see a few beings. Ooh. They're moving?
Yep,
They're
they're
moving.
there.
Yeah, you can see a few beings, these humanoid-esque undead that are crawling around kind of on four legs, making their way on through. And they seem to be growling and snapping at each other, though they have taken no notice of you quite yet. So if you guys want to send someone in first to take a surprise round or prepare in some way, you have a moment to do so.
Andrew, it seems like you're, I think
Yeah.
Torme would be really proud of you.
Might lose that element of surprise if he starts running in.
Who needs surprise?
Uh,
We can take him.
Leander's gonna cast Sacred Weapon
Okay,
and then run on in there.
the first one you can see.
Yep.
I just slap him on the back. Like, as I go over there,
Go
get him.
yeah. Alright, so you run on in. There's a small grouping of them before you.
Oh, geez.
It turns back towards you with reddish eyes and snarls. Ah! Make your attack.
Alrighty. 20.
20 will hit these guys.
I'm gonna make it a level 2 Divine Smite.
Okay.
$14, 22, 24, 31.
You killed him. So you run on forward, call out to Torme, bring on down that Sunblade, and in a great sweep that leaves boils across this thing's chest, it goes flying across the room and is scattered across the ground. That's probably initiative.
Yep.
Yep.
I didn't do much better.
Me too.
Well, I at least have +9 in my initiative. You're just in haste.
Yep.
So,
Finally.
what'd you roll?
17.
17 from Gilroy. Jar!
8.
8. Erlon.
3.
3. Leander.
16.
16. Melee.
10.
10. Okay, well, this is some of the worst initiative we've ever had. But, that leaves Gilroy first.
Well, can I see any? Yeah, I can see a couple, right?
Yeah.
Like this one.
Yeah, those guys down there, you can see down this stairwell. In this space, it feels kind of high elfish in nature, the architecture of it, and yet, like it was made by larger creatures, it's kind of conflicting. This plane has a strange sense to it.
Alright, I will cast Scorching Ray, level my quarterstaff at those two sort of in the back of the room.
Yep.
And these beams of radiant fire energy come forth from the tip of it. I'm going to do 2 at the one on the left and 1 at the one on the right.
Okay.
An 11. Every time. A 16.
Yep.
And 20
hit.
something. Yeah. Alright, so 1 and 1, I guess, huh?
Yep.
6 and 10.
Could be worth.
Yeah.
So, you launch some scorching rays down the way
Softening them up.
in a scattering of magical rays. They seem to recoil as it burns away at their flesh. That's going to bring us to Leander.
Yes. And he's gonna keep moving on forward.
Next.
Just kind of going on with the momentum.
Let's see it.
Cutting through that guy. 23.
20 on it.
Another level 2. His sword just glowing brighter than ever at the fact that it's cutting through undead.
Oh yeah.
And his, it's normal orange glow turning white as he makes it imbued with divine energy. 10, 19, 26.
26. Howdy.
Alright, fine. That's a hit. 17 plus 14.
Yeah.
And just normal.
That's great.
Yeah.
13, 20 damage.
You got him. So, yeah, you continue with your momentum, swinging down your sword and cutting on through these guys with some divine energy, and that will bring us to melee. However, before your turn, Leander, you kind of hear gurgling down the hallway. I have a horrible sense of something larger incoming. Melee, you go.
I want to go into the room.
Okay.
Not sure how far back. Oh, there I am.
Yeah. 30? That's one move.
That works.
Okay. Yeah,
So
you got
the one that got the most damage from Gilroy's attack,
Sure.
I'm going to use sharpshooter.
Sounds good.
13.
13 won't quite hit.
I'm doing well. Alright, same thing. There we go. 20.
Yes.
Okay. For 21.
Okay. Yeah, that'll do.
Alright.
So, took a second to, you're underground. But the second arrow slings right through the side of that guy's head and he drops to the ground. Which brings us to Jar. Jar, I'm sorry I put you all the way in the back, but you're the guy with the bonus action from running.
So yeah, I guess he's gonna have to dash up to be able to get into range of anything, right? Can't
Get melee
quite see where they are. It's
Yeah,
color scheme.
Melee.
getting to the
Go
room.
around me, it's fine. Oh.
Boom!
I did this to myself.
You would still have like another 20 feet of movement speed after that, even if you wanted to use your bonus action dash.
Okay, so yeah, just dash up and he'll just he'll take a pot shot at something with his crossbow.
Sure. Do you want to move further in?
Where's he at right now? I'm having problems seeing things. There we go. No, that looks like it's good.
Okay.
Not too close to snarling, gnashing, undead things.
Sounds good.
So, all right. So the nearest one is.
You got one here that Leander is pretty damn close to. I know, they have a white complexion on top of white stone.
Yeah.
So.
So he'll take a shot at the one that
Exactly.
Leander's fighting. So,
Okay.
So 7 plus. So 15.
15, let me check real quick. That's very close. No. So that's how rogues work. They make their attack. And then that brings us to the baddies. So that one's gonna turn at you, snarling and snapping. It's gonna run on up to Leander. This one is gonna run on up to Leander. This one's gonna run on up to Jar. This one's gonna run on up to Melee. Jar.
Arlon.
I'm still getting my bearings. Plane.
Give me a big slap on the back and
Go get him! So that's going to be a 1 hit on you, Leander, for 5 damage.
woo!
And some
Worth the
attacks against
50 gold.
It's gonna be that would be 2 hits for 16, unless you do you have uncanny dodge? No, you didn't get there, did you?
No, I don't think I got there, no.
So yeah, 16. As their claws rend on down upon you. That's gonna be 2 attacks against melee. The 1 will hit for 8. Then you guys note this great gurgling monster make his way, clawing his way on out of that corridor. He seems ghoulish in nature, but somehow much fatter and very disgusting, covered in rotting boils, and the stench is rather unbearable. And as we get to you, Erlon, you are out of range of the stench, so you don't have to worry about that yet.
Alright, so I pull out Bloodletter and I see how everybody's kind of dispatching these guys pretty easily, and I say, Genra, let's make quick work of this.
Of course. Should be simple.
And I pull out Bloodletter, swing it around, run in, and
Who
Jar
would like
got,
to target?
Jar got hit. He's right in front of me, right?
Melee is right in front of you. You kind of
okay.
have to scoot around her, but it wouldn't be too difficult.
Yeah, I'm gonna sprint by.
Okay.
Melee's got it.
Yeah. And go assist Yar?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a vote of confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure is more helpless. It's fine.
Gives you a slap on the back. Yeah, you got this. So yeah, you find Jar. Though he's holding his own, of course. It seems as though these 2 ghouls got the jump on him and are cutting into his armor.
And in my rage with Genra, I'm actually a lot quieter. I'm not like yelling as much, but my attacks are more precise.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
stronger.
focused. Yeah.
So I'm going to use greater weapon fighting with my reckless attack
Okay.
and just try to chop this one in half. And that is 21,
21 will hit.
and that's 22 damage.
You nearly succeed with the very first swing. He's still standing, however. It seems as though you pretty much lobbed one of his arms right off.
Yep, and I'll hack down on him again.
Alright.
And that'll be 18
18 hits.
for 16 damage.
Got him. Yeah, with that one, you managed to bisect him. And an undead ghoul lays finally dead on the
Undead
floor.
ghoul lays
Can
more
I use the rest of
dead.
my movement to run over? Or does my movement technically stop after? Because I know you said
What's
before I
stopping?
can hit, like I can.
Yeah,
you can break
hit
up the
same
move.
Yeah,
time.
yeah, so.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna continue my.
And which direction? Over to the other side of Jar? Or?
Yeah,
Okay. And because you killed that thing, do you get a bonus action attack?
I do.
Yeah. So,
So yeah, I'm making quick work with Genra, just trying to take these out.
definitely. Yeah, he keeps watch over your movements, tries and keeps your position and your footwork in the right.
And I don't think a 13 will hit.
Not quite.
Right.
So with that one, yeah, as you make that move over, you have a last swing in your rage, which the ghoul manages to dash over to the side, and that brings us back to the top of the round. Actually, before we end your round, though, throw me a Constitution saving throw.
Yep, +3.
Plus 3?
Yeah.
17.
You are fine. However, ew! Which brings us to Gilroy.
Can I see the big guy?
Not from that angle. You
Alright.
kind of went to the...
Yeah, I'd like to move to that corner so that I can see the big hulking monster. Then I will cast... I think we're going to use Melf's Acid Arrow
Okay.
as a 4th level spell.
Did I save on my part?
No.
Right, let's attack. Weird spell.
16.
16 will hit.
Nice. Alright, so that's 6d4 to start. May I?
I'm very original in my notes. These are ghouls, and that's a mega ghoul.
Got
Hangs run across a hyper cool.
Right, exactly.
6, 10, 15, 17 damage.
Nice.
And then when it has a turn, it'll suffer 4d4 more.
Wow. Yeah, no,
That one scales really well, that spell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you see as the acid arrow hits its mark true, flying over Melee's shoulder and past Jar and Burlong as they battle away with these ghouls. It splashes up against the chest of this large, deformed being, and you see that rotting flesh sizzling and melting away, essentially. It doesn't look good. And that brings us to Leander. Leander, can you throw me a Constitution saving throw?
21.
You good. Ew.
Okay.
You do hear the scrambling of a few more ghouls making their way down that hallway there.
Yeah.
They seem to have emerged from their resting spaces in the darkness.
You've got these ones, Erlon. He says he basically tries to kick him away and run to the big one. You can make attacks.
Okay, you're not disengaging?
No.
2 missed.
Can I,
Clang, clang.
can I use my reaction because he's within 5 feet of me with my sentinel feet to strike at one?
Are you able to target against only ones that took attacks of opportunity?
If I'm within 5 feet of any of my fellow companions,
And they...
if they provoke attack of opportunities, or take disengage, I can... Oh yeah, okay, no, sorry, I was reading the wrong thing. So yeah, when a creature within 5 feet makes an attack against a target other than me, I can use my reaction to make a melee weapon attack against the attacking creature.
Right. So yeah, the issue being they're
Gotcha.
in extra space. However, that makes me think Bloodletter is badass with 10-foot reach. If we continue to level that piece up now, I'm keeping that in mind. But not for that time. But
Sorry, I had a hard time seeing.
yeah. No, I know. I'm not gonna use these guys next time.
Yeah, Leander basically charges up against this guy.
Yeah, the
And-
ghouls rake their claws against your back, however your plate armor easily
Yeah.
withstands that.
Yeah. And just bring it down on this guy.
Let's see.
He is done for. Nat 20.
Okay.
So I am doing 6. I'm using a level 3 Radiant. Yes. Level 3 Divine Smite on top of the Sunblade's extra D8 against undead.
Wow.
Wow!
That would have been a 34 to hit.
Alright, let's see. The competition between Erlon and Leander continues.
14, 22, 28, 32, 44, 48, 55.
55.
I can't remember what it was before.
I think Melee might actually have like,
Yeah.
the strongest.
Yeah, no, I
strike
think
with
Melee
the-
actually got it with a sharpshooter. I think it was-
Sharpshooter with
the
the
giant
giant sling
Yeah.
arrow
Yeah.
that was on fire.
Yeah, right.
I don't remember the number, but I'm pretty sure you were like up in the 60s or something.
Yeah, that was
I have
way
to go
up
back
there.
and watch it.
However, Erlon, you have the potential now. Once you get that crit, you could definitely be way up there.
So basically bringing down one of the strong, his sword literally illuminating the room with this bright white light as he just brings it down on this guy. And after basically cutting through him like butter, he just comes back again with another slash. 29.
That'll hit.
I'm like swooning over Leander right now.
And a level 2 Not quite as bright, but still. Oh, if only this was the one. But
Oh, yeah,
16, 24, 27, 29, 36.
Wow. Yeah, you see him stumbling back, this creature of great negative energy and undead presence is being chopped into, and yeah, you cut through him clean like butter. Very simple, easy strikes that are, yeah, just absolutely tearing away at chunks of him, which will bring us to Melee. Melee, this damn ghoul is raking away at you, jumping on top of you and trying to bite in as he can.
So, yeah, I'm going to use Misty Step
Okay.
and go to about against the wall, about halfway down the room. I think that's
Totally.
1, 2,
Yeah, yeah.
3, 4. Yeah, I can do that. And then turn around and use Sharpshooter on him.
Nice. He looks confused, grasping at air.
18,
That'll hit.
17.
17?
Yes.
You fling an arrow into his back, he stumbles forward. Not quite dead yet.
Alright, same thing.
Okay.
15,
15 will hit.
18.
Yeah, alright, so that one puts him right down.
Yeah.
And he comes tumbling down that staircase filled with arrows. That's the end of your turn, unless you'd like to move. So it's bonus action attack.
Yeah, no, I'm
Good there?
good.
Alright. Yeah, even though the center of this space looks like it's elevated, I'm not treating it as such. If anything, it's like, 2 feet up, just kind of these small platforms. Which will bring us to Jar. And you are just out of reach of the stench, Melee. However, Jar, you are not.
He'll be fine.
15.
15 barely wins. You do not succumb to the stench of this horrific being, even as acid eats away at it, as well as a sunblade. What would you like to do?
So, am I still engaged with any?
There is
They all-
one right in front of you. However, it's looking more at Erlon.
Okay. So I'll just try to. So I'll just. I don't want to get closer to the foul. So I'll just bonus action to disengage
Okay.
and step back to the stairwell, and then I will try to shoot it with the crossbow.
Sounds good.
17.
That'll hit.
All right.
Tis a sneak attack.
That's a sneak attack.
He's got an ally next to him.
Okay, so that'd be 10.
10?
Yep.
Erlon, the one next to you, gets a crossbow bolt to the neck as he scrambles back up from when he evaded your axe swing. And that brings us to the baddies. This huge one, reeling back in pain, takes some acid damage.
Take some more. 6, 9.
9. Ow.
Not bad.
No, yeah, that was a good spell.
Yeah.
And he rears back and in one great move brings his 2 fists slamming down before him, hopefully on top of Leander. That's going to be a 24.
Yeah.
So that's going to be 19 bludgeoning damage.
Is that with the reduction?
That is with the reduction.
And I'm gonna.
Is that
But
with
not the whole reduction!
-7.
So,
12.
yeah. Yeah, with great force that cracks into the stone around this space, bringing dust up that has remained dormant for many decades. This being brings its fists down onto the ground. Then Erlon kind of gets swarmed, because there is a lot of them emerging, and this one will actually come up behind you, Leander. If he's a jerk like that. It's the one against Leander. Ooh, ooh. Don't you worry about that. It was a good roll, too. It was. So, that'll be 10 damage, Leander. And then, here's the ones against Erlon. The many. What's your AC right now, Erlon?
16.
16. That's going to be 16 damage. As 4 of them manage to claw at you. Or no, 3 of them manage to hit, and 1 manages to claw rather deeply with a critical hit. But of course, you cut that all in half, raging right through it. However, you guys do see they come pouring out of that side room. The ones that remain from Leander come running around and begin scratching away at Erlon, and he is rather surrounded. That is going to bring us to Erlon's turn.
Yeah, so I'm just, again, hacking precisely, striking at any weak point where I can either remove their head or disarm them, quite literally. So yeah, I'm gonna just attack the one that's directly in front of me.
Yeah, there's the damaged one right there.
So I'll keep on him. Great weapon attack, reckless attack,
All that stuff.
really low rolls. 8.
No.
Alright. I will try again. Natural 1. It's 2 natural.
Yeah,
pain.
the advantage had a natural 1, the
Yeah.
normal one had a natural.
Oh, God.
Do you want me to roll to confirm?
Yeah, give it a go.
Here we go.
Makes sense in this circumstance, at least.
Natural 1.
Oh!
Okay.
I was kind of hoping for that. Just see what we
Yeah, me too.
Ooh.
I was like, dang, what would be the chances?
Those 3 ones in a row.
That's 3 ones in a row for everybody watching.
Okay. So in this circumstance, all of those guys are going to make an additional attack against you, as they actually overwhelm Erlon, managing to get underneath his footing and bring him to the ground and begin clawing on top of him. So they'll all make one more attack at advantage because you'll be prone.
Cool. I actually really like that.
Do you want his natural 1 die?
No, it's okay. So that is going to be another 16 damage because one of them got a crit.
That hurt.
Yeah. Owie! Gilroy!
You know, I don't think the big guy has a health bar, does he?
Does he?
No, he doesn't.
No. Which, is not necessarily a bad thing, but you get so used to it.
Yeah.
Alright.
See, I got back into the mindset of season 1 where we were like, oh, he just doesn't want the bosses.
Yeah. Well, Erlon's looking...
He's in a tough position right now.
Yeah. Well, I just see him... You said he's prone, right?
Yeah, he's a bit bloodied, a bit prone, trying to struggle to get up to his feet.
Alright, I'll move up a bit, maybe halfway through that hall.
You are.
I'm just stepped up.
Does that permit me to see a couple others? Not really, huh?
If you move here,
Alright.
then yeah, you have pretty much full view of them. With the exception of maybe the northmost one.
I don't know what that affords me necessarily. But,
Fireball!
Yeah, I wish. I never get to use it.
Just down the corridor.
Yeah, I suppose I could place it. So. Yeah, alright.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you actually could!
Yeah. Yeah, I'll try that.
Okay.
Fireball sort of centered in the corridor off to the left, and just hoping to get those guys.
What's your DC right now?
17.
That's pretty
It's a lot
ridiculous.
of fails.
Leander would fail that 3 out of 4 times.
Nine, 12, 27.
27?
Yes.
Wow. They are, 4 of them are nearly dead from a single attack. Erlon, you feel, instead of this tearing and gnawing, great heat blast out from beside you and the screeching of many ghouls as the hallway that they came emerging from when they pretty much ambush you is exploding with fire and bursting upon their backs, practically boiling away at them. Leander, your go.
So I guess I'll pretty much just go in for a stab right at this thing's chest.
Sure.
Trying to finish it off. 32.
Jeez. Yeah.
Just level 1. 5, 8, 15.
Okay.
Oh, really? If this had been a better roll.
Very close. Very, very close.
I'll swing at him again. 26.
Yep.
Level 1. Secret. 10, 19, 26.
You got him.
Sweet.
Roll a dexterity saving throw. As he gurgles and undulates as death comes upon him, and in a great gory burst, his top half explodes.
Ooh. 12.
Alrighty.
Does my shield help? No. No. If I had a feat.
There's a feat that's used.
So you will take 23 force damage as you are burst back away from him and scattered across the ground. And you are pushed back 5 feet.
Alright.
However, he is very dead. Which will bring us to melee.
The one with the full health closest to me, that's on the side of Erlon.
Yep.
Can use sharpshooter on that one.
Sounds
Not full,
good.
but with more health.
Yeah.
That one.
Confirm your nat one.
17.
Okay, so a whole swarm of ghouls does not come running out of the secret passage and ambush you. Yeah, right?
Alright, I'm gonna
Another
do
go.
the same thing.
Okay.
Is that...
That's probably 12.
We're going with 12? Okay. 19.
That'll hit.
22.
Okay. That is exactly how much HP he had. So,
Perfect.
with a perfectly
Nicely done.
placed arrow, you sling it right through its neck. It goes falling to the ground, which brings us to Jar.
See, Jar will, how bad looking is Erlon?
He looks like he could actually do this all day, but
Okay.
you don't want him to, so...
We can just leave him.
So, let's see, there's one to the north, around the
Oh,
corner
man.
from me.
Yep.
Right there.
Yeah.
Is there anybody else? There's the one just to the south of him.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, Jar is just gonna step 5 feet to the south, and he'll shoot at the northernmost one
Okay.
with his crossbow.
Make your shot.
Nice. That's not 20.
Nice. I was gonna say not another now. One.
So that's gonna be.
Would that be a sneak attack? Since they're gnawing on Erlon?
No, he's not really there to engage them.
Yeah, he's
not
prone is the problem.
prone,
So.
that'll be.
What's the point of being a rogue?
So 12.
12?
Yep.
Nice, yeah. Shot right between the eyes that pierces out the back of his skull, and that one goes falling to the ground. The onslaught on Erlon lessened a little bit at the least. Which will bring us to them. We'll make some attacks against Erlon. For a total of 4 damage as they claw mostly into the ground around you. And then attack against Leander. 1 hit for 5. These things not gonna stop no matter how many of them fall mindless undead, claw away at whatever they can find to eat. And that will bring us finally to Erlon.
How many are left around?
3!
3?
And they look weak. Their flesh boiled away by flame.
So I imagine they're all like on top of me and like stabbing me or
Yeah.
using their claws or whatever. So I like spurt out some blood on the one that's like directly over me. Just like cough up some blood on it, push myself up, and then just swing bloodletter.
Let's see it.
I want to spin his head around cartoon style with greater weapon fighting, reckless attack. I am rolling real bad. 11.
Not quite.
All right, let's try.
Come on, Erlon.
18.
That'll do.
All right. That'll be 9 plus 9, 18.
Got him.
All
So
right.
yeah, no, with great force you do, on the second swing, send his head, and that allows you a bonus attack. There's one right next to you.
Yep. Do that again. 18 to hit.
Yes.
15.
So you just carry through the same motion, and the next one suffers the same fate. It goes falling to the ground. Which brings us to Gilroy.
There's one left.
One left, the finisher.
Alright, I will,
Pull out your dagger.
no, although I considered it. No, I'll level my staff and, firebolt
Let's see it.
through as it sizzles, sparks, and then let loose a, 27.
Okay.
Troy's doing good this.
Yeah.
12.
Yeah, he gets a fiery blast and goes rocketing off, slamming against that stone wall to his east, and then slumping onto the ground, defeated. Erlon, shake yourself off. Got a couple new scratches across your chest and whatnot, some bites in your shoulder and arm, but you guys are feeling okay. And you hear and feel the smell of the stench of death and whatnot kind of wafts away as the air shifts, and ozone replaces it in familiar smell of electricity, much like you've experienced before in Waterwheel. And as you guys make your way towards that south tunnel, finding those side passages to simply be, of course, the disgusting homes of ghouls. Wow, Jar, you no longer want to move. Your character's angry. Anyway, I'll bring Leander down, seeing as he's our eyes in circumstances like this. What you guys end up seeing when you go down this way is a large, long corridor at the end of which appears to be a sigil. Beyond that sigil, a 20-foot square pit filled with lightning that arcs from the bottom all the way to the top, what appears to be some kind of magical trap or deterrence left long ago here, which you'll have to ponder a way past next time on the lands of Alaire. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode as we began to unveil exactly what Elenvir is and the struggles of the Council of Sumadia. I think it was a good one, albeit a little bit short, but that's alright. So thank you so much for watching. TJ, wrap us up.
Yeah, thanks for coming, guys. This airs live every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here at twitch.tv/Freakopolis. You can also find Freakopolis Network or Geekery, our videos, and our physical brick-and-mortar comic and game shop all over social media. The links are in the chat if you're here in Twitch. But that's facebook.com/Freakopolis, instagram.com/Freakopolis Geekery, twitter.com/Freakopolis, youtube.com/Freakopolis Network. So search Freakopolis on pretty much any social media. You can also buy stuff either in person 5 days a week here in Whitehall, New York. Ian and I behind the counter at 120 Main Street from the Freakopolis Geekery. We have all sorts of comics and role-playing games and tabletop stuff. Or you can go to freakopolis.com and find some of our products there as well. We're going to do a giveaway on Twitch at 250 followers of something from our store. So if this is your first time watching, you enjoyed the show, I would ask that you consider following. And if you really enjoy the show, consider subscribing. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription a month. We'd love that for it to be us. If not, it's as small as $5 a month. And you can subscribe to us and get some pretty sweet emotes. So thank you to our new followers tonight. Thank you to Matt for
The bits.
Yeah, for the bits. And if you're watching on YouTube, this will go up, should be on Tuesday. Consider subscribing there. We're very close to 300 subscribers, and we'd like to get there sooner rather than later.
Sweet stuff. And then joined by gaming.
We are joined by gaming. We promote positivity in the gaming community. We also have some really awesome events lined up, one of which will be here at the Freakopolis Geekery.
Yeah.
You'll find out more information on that as we get a little bit more put together on our Facebook page and our website. So it's facebook.com/joinedbygaming and joinedbygaming.com. and we're doing it to raise money for the Children's Hospital at Albany Medical Center.
So that's why you should look into them. Join by Gaming on Facebook and joinbygaming.com. A lot of really cool events coming up. All definitely worth looking into. Whether you're a tabletop fanatic or not, it's all for a great cause. And finally, a big thank you to our father, who puts in the production and editorial work on these videos and this whole live show. Could not be done without him, and sadly he does not get to play. He makes the sacrifice. So we are all very grateful, and we will see you next time, next Sunday, on the lands of Alaire, to see exactly what's going down with this High Counselor and this plane of adventure. Have a good night, guys.
Good night.
Night.